To policy brief, right? From action plan to policy brief for the government of Enugu State.
Participants at the retreat are expected to develop strategic action plans that will align ministerial operations with the administration's vision of a smart, efficient, and citizen-focused public service. The state government says the initiative marks a decisive step towards institutional reform that prioritizes measurable impact, innovation, and sustainable development. In Enugu, Chinemerem Ikebunam, Signaturetv News.
Concerns over poor investment in medical research dominated deliberations on Tuesday as the House of Representatives reviewed the budgets of federal university teaching hospitals, federal teaching hospitals, and federal medical centers. At the session, the chairman of the House Committee on Health Institutions, Patrick Umor, faulted tertiary health institutions for allocating less than 1% of their budget to research, stressing that teaching hospitals have gradually abandoned their research mandate and now function mainly as general hospitals. Member of the committee, Uchenna Okonkwo, noted that a lack of sustained research left the health sector unprepared than the COVID-19 pandemic, and that oversight visits revealed the absence of functional research centers in many institutions. Responding for the Committee of Chief Medical Directors, the Secretary of the Committee and Chief Medical Director of the Jos University Teaching Hospital, Professor Pokop Botwata, said inadequate funding remains a major constraint, with only 30% of a 2025 budget released to federal tertiary hospitals. Highlighted manpower shortages driven by the Jacqua syndrome, high electricity costs under Band A tariffs, and the need for take-up grants for newly established health institutions, while welcoming plans to provide solar mini-grids.
However, sir, the challenges all of us face, in implementing the 2025 appropriation, where things that you stated, partial release of some of the funds, like 30%, some of us got the 30%, but many of us did not get the 30% releases. And so we're able to do much as you desired as the Committee of House Representatives to move the tertiary hospitals in Nigeria, to give Nigerians befitting hospitals where they can go and get their health addressed.
The Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development has highlighted challenges in accessing adequate funding for its 2025 budget, emphasizing the need for greater support to deliver programs for women, children, and vulnerable populations. Imam Suleiman Ibrahim, speaking at the House Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development during the 2026 budget defense, said that no funds were received from international donors in 2025. She also noted the lack of coordination and accountability among non-governmental organizations and civil society organizations, which sometimes access resources intended for public programs without oversight.
We did not get any external funding to the ministry. Usually we do from the UNICEF, UN Women, but as of 2025, there was no external funding. And what I find is that there's no coordination when it comes to, funding from development partners in this space. It's an area of abuse. So NGOs will just wake up one day and say, we're an NGO that deals with children. They'll go to UN and access money. And it's something that we have to come together to stop, because there's no accountability. So these are funds that we were supposed to use to implement or work for people that goes to NGOs and CSOs unaccounted for. So nothing has come from that space, but we're still, yes.
Reviewing the 2025 budget performance, Sulaiman Ibrahim reported that out of a total appropriation of 2,060 million naira, 1,900 million naira was released for personnel, 470 million naira for overhead, and 39 million naira, 290,000 naira for capital. She noted that an additional 30% release for capital is expected, while an approved intervention of 450 million naira from the Ministry of Finance has mostly been utilized. For 2026, the ministry proposed a total budget of 134 billion naira to address gaps from the 2025 budget and strengthen program delivery across local governments. In opening remarks, Khalifat Obara, chairman of the House Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development, welcomed the budget defense session, emphasizing the importance of evaluating past performance, assessing ongoing programs, and supporting initiatives that promote sustainable empowerment for women and girls across Nigeria.
The budget should reflect our commitment to inclusivity, ensuring that marginalized groups of women, such as those in rural areas, women with disabilities, and survivors of violence, are adequately supported. We should prioritize initiatives that promote long-term sustainability and empowerment to enhance short-term measures. Our aim should be to create lasting change that uplifts women and girls for generations to come. It is also vital that we foster collaboration between government agencies, civil society organizations, and international partners to maximize the impact of our efforts. Finally, we must monitor and evaluate by establishing clear metrics for success and accountability mechanisms to ensure that funds are used effectively and transparently.
Lawmakers at the budget defense of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development raised concerns over poor returns to farmers, rising input costs, and delayed release of funds. Members of the House Committee on Agriculture said high prices of fertilizers and other inputs are discouraging farmers, warning that food security could worsen if urgent steps are not taken. Engaging the Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development, Sabi Abdullahi, the lawmakers urged the ministry to ensure prompt release and proper utilization of approved funds.
Later, we requested that please you should update when you came for the budget defense. Update us on what you people are doing on those multilateral projects that normally is being used, even if the budget is not being funded. If we have a multilateral and bilateral amount, maybe constituting what I have mentioned, it will help in boosting the food production.
Respondent Sabi Abdullah identified rising cost of inputs, technology infrastructure, and transportation as major constraints and called for policies to reduce production cost and boost yields.
Now, one of the constraints we'll be reporting is the fact that the price of inputs, which is driven by some macroeconomic policies, is still high for farmers and is a major source of concern. So whatever the committee can do to support us in this area.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede, has called for the strengthening of the Nigeria Police Force and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps to complement the efforts of the armed forces, citing manpower and operational limitations. General Oluyede made the call while speaking at the House Committee on Defense during the commencement of the 2026 budget defense session, with agencies under the committee's jurisdiction at the National Assembly. It is disclosed that newly trained special forces have been deployed to Benue and Plateau states, while a new joint task force, Operation Savannah Shield, was inaugurated to cover Kwara State and parts of Niger State.
It's not possible